Well, welcome to the show.
This is our view from the bench.
Well, welcome to the show. I'm Brendan, tip fixer for the Dart Club.
And I'm Corey, floor sweeper for the local NJB League. And happy Thursday, man.
Happy Thursday, dude. Made it through my work week.
Yeah, mine's a whole different story this week, especially.
Oh, really? What happened?
Getting ready for Black Friday, so we're all working a bunch of overtime, and so I don't even know. I think I'm only off one day this week, like working 6 days. That's how we're trying to push this and get this all done. And then I think I have to be there Black Friday at 8 a.m. So it's just trying to get through Thanksgiving weekend right now at this point.
Dang. Well, you're about a week away. After this one, we move into it. So get ready, bro. Strap in.
Almost there. What about your week, man?
It was pretty okay. Got through work. I didn't work out as much as I wanted. It was just busy. I was just busy, so I didn't get to the gym. But I did a little bit of working out here, so it'd be good enough. So other than that, just finishing up the week on Friday. Can't wait. I'm actually gonna go see my mom and stepdad are driving in from Arizona. I'm gonna meet them at my aunt's house for like an early Thanksgiving on Saturday.
Oh, dude, you get multiple Thanksgivings? That's even better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I already have Thanksgiving this weekend, technically, and then I'll have one on Thanksgiving also as well. Yeah. So that'll be cool.
Heck yeah. The more Thanksgiving plates of food, the better, in my opinion.
I agree. It's pretty good. I do like that it's only once a year. I'm not the person who looks for the food truck or whatever that has the Thanksgiving sandwich or something. I don't like, dude. I don't really want all that. But are you into that? That's you?
Okay, I don't go searching out for the trucks, but there was a place that used to be around called Capriotti's, and they would make a thank you Thanksgiving turkey sandwich. Oh, it was so good.
Okay. Well, I mean, maybe I would try it for sure, but I like that it's around Thanksgiving.
Well, now that we've gotten all our Thanksgiving ideas, I'm getting hungry. But before we get started, I just wanted to make sure if you're not already following us or not subscribing, make sure you do so on our channel on YouTube. Just search Our View from the Bench. That way you never have to miss an episode. And make sure you hit that like button if you like what you see.
That's right, man. Well, we're going to start, though, with Thursday Night Football. It started off to be quite a good game, and then as soon as something crazy happened in the first half, it turned out to be somewhat of a snoozer because they're already losing, and as soon as they lose Joe Burrow, the game is fairly over now.
Pretty much, yeah. When I got that update, I was like, ooh, that's early in the game. And then I realized what time, like you said, in the first half. And I was like, ugh, that's pretty much it. And then the worst part was the video you see later when I got home of him, the play that it happens on, like nobody's near him or hits him or anything as far as I could see. And he's just like really not feeling it. Then I go to the sideline shot of him like warming up and he goes to throw it and he can't even let go of the ball. And then he like collapses internally, just like onto the ground, like that much pain. My gosh, like what am I gonna do? Like I can't even throw a ball. So
that's pretty crazy. I don't know. I wonder if it hurts to even hold it. Because it seems like the way he doesn't even get to throw it. It's not like he's at the release point. I feel like he's like here and it just like hurts, So
yeah, it's almost like a pitcher when they get their elbow popped. But even though we know it is a wrist as of now at least, but it's like when pitchers get their elbows that they go out there and they can't throw anything. It's just like nope, I'm done. So that's a huge problem. I don't even know who the backup is.
Cincinnati seems done, to be honest with you. They really needed to kind of get the ball rolling. They're back to 500 if they weren't already, I believe. So it's not a good start for this season. And seeing Joe Burrow go down, I think they might be done. If he misses one more week, and not misses as in just isn't playing, misses as in if he's toughing it out but really can't do anything, then you're really missing anyways. So
yeah, you might as well be.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they might be done for the season, which is kind of sucky because that is who I picked to win. But it didn't necessarily see all the injuries. I'm
happen. Also the one who picked the Jets to win the AFC East, and that blew up week 1. So at least you got this far.
Yeah, true. The Bengals were 0-14 on the road in primetime games since 2013, including 0-4 with Joe Burrow. Now 0-5 and 0-15. So. It's not looking good. So basically, should we be saying that Kirk Cousins-ish? We give that treatment to Kirk Cousins saying he can't play in primetime, but he did so this year. Beat the Niners in primetime, actually.
It's weird that you say that primetime. Isn't like the AFC title game? Couldn't that be considered primetime on a Sunday? Is it just not because
Yeah,
it's
so
late
it's
enough in the
weird. I
after
agree.
time
I don't
zone?
know. Yeah, I don't
That's
know if
weird.
this means regular season games.
Okay, that makes more sense because they did win the AFC title game on the road in Kansas City. So I'm like, that's kind of I don't know, a big primetime game, especially if it's on the later afternoon shift on the East Coast. It's probably prime time. So like, that's kind of bizarre to me that they, I don't know, that's a weird stat to see, but okay.
Yeah, it's a stat nonetheless. We have a couple games continuing this week. Obviously, this is just game 1 of week 11. There's a couple that we wanted to talk about, 3 specifically, that are definitely eye-catching. One that everyone is talking about, of course, the Monday night game. But we're gonna save that one for last. The first one that we want to talk about is actually another AFC North matchup. Well, similar to the one that we just discussed for Thursday Night Football. Steelers are going to Cleveland to take on the Browns. Now, Deshaun Watson has officially been ruled out for the season.
Yeah.
Dorian Thompson-Smith or Dorian Finney-Thompson? No, that's now I'm talking about the
Thompson
basketball
Robinson,
player, huh?
right? Dorian Thompson
Yeah,
Robinson.
now I feel bad.
I don't know.
But he's out of UCLA. I know where he's from.
Yes,
He
DTR.
just
That's all I know.
yes, exactly. He's actually going to be starting, and I feel like since he's already played a game, he kind of got a little bit out of the way. He kind of got his first game out of the way, so he seems confident. He was pretty average at UCLA, a little bit above average. He could run, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I don't know. I'm nervous. I know the Browns have a great defense. That's going to obviously keep them in the game. But we'll see what the rookie could do with the ball on offense.
The only positive, if you're the Browns out of it, though, is the fact that Kenny Pickett is not like the greatest quarterback in the NFL either. Like the Steelers run the ball all the time. So if the Browns defense can just do what it's been doing and shut down the run, Pickett's not going to make any difference really in the game. So, like you said, if DTR can just maybe be more of a game manager, not turn the ball over, hand the ball off, make the basic throws, move the offense down the field, and then Browns defense does its job, then it's not impossible. It does help that it's in Cleveland. If it was in Pittsburgh, I'd say that the Steelers would win this game, like no, even without thinking about it. It'd be close, but I think they would win. But it's in Cleveland, so I'm gonna go Cleveland, even though I picked them to make the playoffs. I think they can still do it, but now I don't feel good about them doing good, like beyond making it at that point.
Yeah, I can see that for sure because a rookie, winning a regular season game and winning a playoff game where everything's on the line and being a rookie at the helm of this offense is a little bit harder, a little bit easier said than done. So
yeah, absolutely.
Another rookie though that is heading an offense is the Raiders rookie. We got a rookie quarterback, we got a rookie head coach, but this matchup was super interesting to me. I have them flipped on the screen. That's my bad. But the Raiders are visiting Miami. The only thing that they've really got on them, honestly, is that it's in Miami and that it's during the day. You brought that up when I was talking about it because I thought the Raiders could really give the Dolphins and Tua a run for their money. The Dolphins don't beat winning teams, and the Raiders currently are sitting at 5-5. Now, granted, their last 2 wins were against the Giants and the Jets, but they're currently winning and they're undefeated with their new head coach and quarterback combo. So I kind of gave them a puncher's chance until you reminded me about the discrepancies in the weather, where Miami gets to enjoy the shade and the Raiders are going to be in the sun at 1:00 in the afternoon, where the weather's projected to be 82 degrees. So it's gonna be a little warm.
Only 82. What's the humidity? That's another question. We're talking about Florida here. This is not
Miami, right on the water.
Yeah, exactly. So, and also the Raiders did win their first 2 games with Pierce coaching, and that's a great thing. That's a great story for them to finally figure things out. But that's also 2 home games. We're going on the road. You're going to Miami, like you said, against teams that don't have winning records. They have good records. Like you said, Raiders are 5-5, and 2 weeks ago they were 2 games under. So maybe they've got, they always talk about when the new coach comes in, you get like this spike and this high for a couple weeks, and then eventually you kind of, come back down to the mean. So maybe this is that first real test for them on the road. If they go into Miami and win, and it doesn't even matter if it's by a game-winning field goal at the buzzer, if they win that game on the road in Miami and get to 6-5 and now become a legitimate wild card like team, Antonio Pierce definitely keeps that job, right? Like,
yeah, oh yeah, he should honestly. I mean, he's most likely he's keeping the job anyways. He's been waiting his entire life to be a head coach for the Raiders. Well, at least play possibly. He obviously
yeah,
played in the NFL, so it would have been wanted to play for the Raiders, but he's wanted to be part of this organization for his entirety. So it's definitely going to be something that he's looking forward to, and I think the team is as well. He already
yeah.
seems to be having that, but this wouldn't hurt. That's for dang sure. That would help his resume for sure.
Oh
Just
yeah.
beating the Dolphins on the road, because Dolphins are a good team. Now, like I said, they only seem to beat losing teams because they can't seem to beat teams that are above 500. But we'll see how
Even
they
more
both
reason.
fare this Sunday, I guess.
Even more reason if you're the Raiders and you go in there and win, that's a huge thing. If you're a team that's not above 500 or has a really nice winning record, then you can beat the Dolphins and then even slow down that offense because I don't think the Raiders can keep up with them if it comes like a shootout. But
Right,
if
I
it's
agree.
a defensive struggle and they can make Miami really, have to work on offense and they can keep themselves in the game, they can definitely steal this win on the road. It'll just be very difficult, I think.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that for sure. Another difficult matchup for both teams, to be honest with you,
That's a good
is
one.
the Monday night matchup. The matchup that everybody is talking about, the matchup that we obviously want to talk about, the Super Bowl rematch. Dolphin. Looking at the freaking screen. Eagles visiting Kansas City, taking on the Chiefs. Monday Night Football. Definitely watching this game. How the heck do you see this going?
Oh, I don't know, man. The Chiefs are really good. Obviously, I mean, both these teams really are. It's just a battle of two really good teams. I don't know. The Chiefs' defense is pretty good this year compared to their like last couple of years. I feel like the offense has been more of the carrying. This defense is pretty nice, and if I don't know, it should come down to the wire though, like just like the Super Bowl did last year. I would think it will come down to a touchdown or a field goal. But the fact that it's in Kansas City makes me kind of lean towards the Chiefs, but I also feel like even the Eagles are going to be there ready for trying to get that revenge. Even though it's not the same, you're not getting the Super Bowl title out of this game, but
No.
just a little revenge kind of nudge, and maybe even give them a preview of like if we see you again in February, like this is we know we can beat you. Basically, it gives us the opportunity. It gives them the ability to think that they can do it, and if that's half the battle, it feels like in these big matchups.
Yeah, 100%. I think the Chiefs do have that home field advantage. The only thing that's really different about this team, Nick Wright likes to joke about it because he always says that this team is just vastly different. They don't have the same weapons. I think he said that the main thing that's different about this team is that they don't have Juju. That's about it.
That's
I'm
essentially
not saying that he's terrible, but it's not like he's this game changer in even Tyreek Hill from when they won the Super Bowl last year. So
yeah.
you know, it's still the same team, but I feel like the Eagles have improved. So that's where. But the thing is if the offensive line can hold up, I think Patrick Mahomes will be able to carve up the secondary. I don't know how much Kevin Byard has really, gotten
Yeah,
involved in the
true.
defense yet, or how much he's helped. But the secondary is their worst spot. They're really only up in the top of the defensive rankings is because their coverage and their. I mean, I'm sorry, not their coverage, their line, their run defense, and their ability to sack and hurry the quarterback. So if Kansas City can hold up and the receiver can get open, they can be carved up.
Okay. No, you know what? I don't even want to say because I don't want to put it in the ether. So I'm going to keep that in my mind. I
All
was
right.
going to say, what if
I'm gonna
something
say
happens in this matchup that could affect something in down the line matchup? But I don't want to. I don't want to jinx anything. So I'm just going to let it go.
I'm thinking Chiefs. I'm thinking Chiefs could take this one. I think it's gonna be barely though, because the Eagles are
Yeah.
only one loss team for a reason. So I'm
Oof.
saying I say they cover the spread. I think it's at -3. So I say they win by like 3 or 4.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I expect it to come down to the wire, and whoever has the ball last or game-winning field goal in the last minute. It's going to be something close. It's not going to be a blowout by any means.
No. Well, now that we're through 10 weeks of
Man,
the
that's crazy.
season, yeah, right. We kind of want to do something that is new, something we haven't done yet. So it's not like we've been changing all of these before, but it's something that we probably are going to do weekly going forward. Once a week, not once an episode. That'd be intense because obviously things only change once.
Can you
But
imagine we
we
go from
have,
Monday to Thursday? Like, dude, could you see the Steelers? They moved up in the rankings and nothing
yeah,
happened.
because they had a good practice the other day. It was really good practice. Like you should have seen the way the tight ends were blocking. It was insane. Um, so we're gonna do like a power ranking, I guess, as you can say. We're gonna start with mine. So going into week 11, here is my AFC and NFC power ranking. For the audio audience, I'll start over in the AFC. But for the visual audience on YouTube, you can kind of see this beautiful picture I made you. If you're listening on audio, Spotify or Apple Podcasts, feel free to come check this stuff out. I make it for you all the time. Try to make them nice so you could, see all the pretty stuff when you're listening to this fantastic content. Check us out. Search Our View from the Bench. Man. Thanks, man. Starting in the AFC, we have the Chiefs at the top. Until somebody really, really proves me otherwise, I feel like they have the best coach-quarterback combo. Their defense is actually surprisingly good this year. And the only weapon, like I stated before, that they're missing from last year is Juju. So, like I said, I don't think he's game-changing. I think he's good. Yeah, second, I have the Ravens. Lamar is really good. He did just tonight, though, lose Mark Andrews, his favorite target. Isaiah Likely can catch and is tall and fast as well. That's really Mark Andrews' backup. But I feel like he relies on him a lot. So this is going to be kind of a big deal. And we'll see how the offense moves forward from here. But I think that's the reason why they got some of the guys like Odell and drafted who they drafted to try to come in and fill spots for this exact reason.
Football, man. Next man up, right?
Exactly. In third, in the AFC, I have the Jags. I feel like they're floating. I know they have lost to the Chiefs, but they did barely lose. I think it was like a 17-9 game or something like that. So it wasn't too big of a win. After that, the Dolphins. I think they're the best team in the AFC East, but that's not really saying much, to be honest with you. So, but I do think that's kind of, I guess, now that I look at it, that's kind of each of the ones of the AFC. And then the fifth one that I'm throwing in there is the Browns. Moving over to the NFC, I have the Eagles. One loss, man. You can't really beat that. I kind of have the Niners for now. If the Lions keep doing what they're doing and they have a very easy schedule, I actually wanted to talk to you about this. I know we've kind of stopped doing I got 5 on it. That's on me, guys. I'm kind of broke, so we can't do that right now. But I have this thing where if we look at the Lions schedule, they have a very easy schedule. And the Eagles have a very difficult schedule going forward for the rest of the year. If we're able, maybe we could. They're at like a plus 350 or plus 390 right now for Lions for the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. Because and like I said, I'll show you their schedule later. If we could check out their schedule, you might be considering that. So just wait, I'll show you.
Something to look into.
Yeah, so we have the Eagles, the Niners, then I have the Lions, Cowboys 4th, and I have the Seahawks 5th.
All right, that's not bad. I mean, it's hard to argue really your top couple there in each conference at the top. I mean, the top 2 in each are the two of them were in the Super Bowl last year, and the other 2, well, actually, yeah, the other 2 I picked to compete in the Super Bowl this year. So
true, very true. Well, let's move on then to your list right here. Again, for the YouTube audience, you can see Corey's list is updated. We have some similarities, but a couple differences. And audio audience, take it from here, Corey.
All right. So to start in the AFC like you did yourself, I actually have the top 2 teams swapped. So I have Baltimore as number 1, which, like you talked about, Andrews being out and things could change. But right now, I think in the moment, I'm feeling strong about them being a little bit better just because their defense is so good. Like, no matter how good Pat Mahomes is, if he has to work super hard for an entire game, and Lamar has to work hard too as well, but I just feel like he's had such a good season so far on the offensive side, and especially the last couple of weeks, I feel like they've played better. So I feel like they're there at the top. And then, like I said, Chiefs are second. Like you said, it's hard to really go against the defending champ until somebody proves you wrong. So I have them right there at the top.
Yep.
I am with you there as far as the Jags being third. I think they are really good. I know they had a bad game against the Niners, but the Niners are coming off a bye and all their injuries were kind of fixed over, and they were pissed off from losing 3 games in a row, and they made the Jags pay for it. So I'm not going to hold that against
Chase Young too, so that doesn't hurt.
That does definitely help your defensive abilities for sure. My 4th one, though, is I'm going to bring the Texans in here. I know they are not winning their division, but they're really good. CJ Stroud has been really, really, really smart with the ball, hasn't turned it over. I think you said he had 2 picks when we talked about it last week.
Are you talking about in our episode earlier this week? If you missed that, CJ Stroud is a possible MVP candidate. I got a nice table for it. I break it down in our previous episode. Go check it out. You can't miss it. Literally, headline says CJ Stroud for MVP. Check it out. Go ahead.
It's hard to argue with your idea there in stats when we looked at it too.
But yes, it was 2 interceptions to answer your question.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I have them as 4, and then I have the Dolphins as 5th. Like you said, they're the best team in the AFC East, so someone's got to win that division and be in there. So for now, it's them. I don't know if them or Buffalo's going to make it and who's going to finish, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
When it comes to NFC, again, I have the same teams at the top. I just have them swapped with you. Oh, actually, do we have the same on these ones? I have Eagles at the top.
Yeah, you have. It's the bottom ones that you have.
That's the bottom ones. Okay, so at the top, it's again hard to argue. The Eagles are the best team in football. They only have 1 loss for a reason, so I have them as number 1. Niners number 2. Even though, like you mentioned, if the Lions keep playing well and can do what they, God, it feels impossible to say, actually win the division and like be a dominant team throughout a season and go into the playoffs as maybe like a favorite to win a playoff game seems just bizarre to say out loud. But yeah, so I have the Eagles.
Real.
Yeah, it is weird. It is weird to say, but it is real. You were right. So I have the Eagles, Niners, and then the Lions at 3. And then at the bottom, that's what we talked about. I swapped. I have the Seahawks at number 4 and Cowboys at 5. I just don't trust Dak when it comes down to it. I know he had a good game against the Eagles, and they still lost, which makes me think, well, he doesn't have very many of those a lot of the time, so that's not good if they don't win those ones. So I just don't feel good about them, especially in a playoff game. For some reason, I don't trust Geno Smith, but I trust Pete Carroll. So I don't know. They're not going to win the NFC West because of the Niners, but they definitely have an opportunity to be a top wildcard team. And, you know, anything can happen once you're in the playoffs, especially if you have a good defense, and that's what they do.
Very true. Well, I like the list. I understand it. And I mean, the Cowboys, I barely want to put on the list, to be honest with you. But they do win games, and they do have a pretty good roster, so I can't knock them too much. Michael Parsons is an absolute monster. I like that guy a lot. So that's really no knock on the Cowboys in general. However, what we want to do, though, is we want to hear from you. Tell us below in the comments who is in your top 5 for each of the conference, for the AFC, for the NFC. Let us know where we're wrong. Who did we leave off this list? Don't just be a fanboy. Don't come at me and be like, I can't believe you said that the Cardinals shouldn't be in the... No, okay? As a Cardinals fan myself, no. But let us know. Let us know down in the comments. We definitely want to see what you had to say. But yeah, check this out.
Yeah, well,
moving on, though.
Like you said, you can't call us homers because neither of our teams are in the top 5, and they don't deserve to be there anyway. So.
No, they definitely don't deserve to be in either conference for sure. Yeah, definitely not the Titans either, for sure. But thank you for putting this together. So, anyways, we're gonna try to update these once a week. Stay tuned because this is gonna be fluid. Yeah, we're gonna see who's beating who and who's losing who.
I was just gonna say, yeah, losing to injuries is really the bigger thing.
Yep. Moving to the next topic, though. We've got Jim Harbaugh. He's we kind of talked about it already in the last episode as well. Go check it out if you want all the details about what's going on. Basically, there's some sort of like Spygate type of investigation going on by the NCAA and the Big Ten. But the Big Ten punished him earlier last week, or late last week, I should say, and smacked him with a 3-game suspension, of which he's served 1 game, which was the game at Penn State. He has 2 left. One that doesn't matter this week, but they still need to win because winning matters, but one that's not that difficult. But they do host Ohio State last week of the season, and he will not be able to be in attendance for that game. He officially accepted the 3-game suspension, and because of that, the Big Ten has dropped the investigation.
Makes sense. We talked about this. It's the fact that it's not allowed. I feel like that it's more the issue. If it wasn't something that you couldn't do, I don't think it would be as big a deal. But the fact that, but like we also talked about that thing in Purdue that you brought up last episode and how they were stealing signs, and was it baseball that they were doing it in or something? Or
no, it was against Michigan.
Oh, it was against Michigan. Okay, so it
was Ohio State, Rutgers, and Purdue.
Everyone's doing it. It's more so that Michigan got caught, and the fact that they are at the top, and everyone hates Michigan, and Harbaugh essentially. So it's just a big.
Not everybody.
No, well, yeah, you over there, I know, but most people do, and I don't know. I don't care enough really about college football to be like mad about it because
true.
At the end of the day, if you don't want this to happen, then maybe they should have headphones in their quarterbacks' headsets and their helmets, like the NFL. Like, stop doing these stupid signs from the sideline and cards in the air and all this dumb stuff that you could just eliminate if you got. I mean, you can afford it. I'm sure you make billions of money through TV revenue and everything else. Like, you can afford to maybe put the REL communications in there, and then maybe this wouldn't.
It's not like it's in every It's not like it's in every headset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You only need like 3.
Yeah, 3 helmets, 4 helmets, probably 2 for defense, 2 for offense as a backup, and then the head coaches have.
Oh yeah, sorry, 3 on each side of the ball is what I was thinking.
Yeah, so they are. I mean, the head coaches are already using headsets in the booth and everything anyway. So I don't understand what the big deal is.
100%.
But I'm also the person who doesn't understand why replay takes so long. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So, anyways, the NCAA, however, the investigations aren't over. The NCAA is still investigating this to see if there might be anything more that needs to be. But apparently, the Big Ten is dropping it because all they can do is do what they can, which is what they've done. And since he's accepted it, then everything is done.
So you know what's going to happen
for the Big Ten.
The NCAA is going to do an investigation for 3 years, and by the time they come to a freaking idea of what they want to do, he's going to be gone, long gone, by like a year and a half. And then they'll punish the school for something he did and has already left for. Stupid.
Yeah, we talked about that in one of our very early episodes where we talk about the NIL deals that were going on. Don't remember which episode. I wish I could recall off the top of my head. That'd be freaking awesome if my memory was like that. We're
31 in, man. It's hard to remember which one was which now.
Dang, getting close to our age. Oof.
Couple weeks.
Some other coaches are making headlines in NCAAF. One of them being Jimbo Fisher. He is fired from Texas A&M after a 6-year stint there. However, he is definitely coasting out on a wave of money, dude. Wow. This is technically his tenure here, okay? In 2017, he signed a 10-year, $75 million contract, okay? Damn. Then, in 2021, only 4 years into that contract, apparently he was doing well, which he was. He got another 10-year extension on top of that, $95 million, fully guaranteed.
Oh, man.
So basically, according to the terms of the contract, the way this is going to end is Texas A&M is going to owe Jimbo $19.2 million within 60 days of him leaving the school. So they owe him $19.2 million, and that pays him out for like a big portion of it. Then they're going to pay him $7.2 million annually through 2031.
Wow.
So he takes 20 mil, well, probably like 10, because of course you get half stupid freaking taxes. Thanks a lot. That's theft. Taxation is theft.
Well, at least he's getting not the state tax income because he's in Texas.
True. Yeah. Well, the government. Yeah. Don't worry. The federal they get their hands on it.
Yeah. At least he's got only one of them in it.
Yeah, and then 7.2 million dollars annually. Dude, he doesn't have to do anything until 2031, and by that time, he'll already be retired, a multi-millionaire. So what not? You know, shoot, he's done.
So that also means if he wants to coach another team next year, he doesn't have to necessarily get paid as much as they normally would maybe give him because he knows he's got 90, another 70 coming to him already. He's already going to get paid $7 million. So if they were paying him 12 or 13 a year, I don't know or 7.5 a year for the breakdown. So then if he goes somewhere else and he's already getting 7, just give him like $4 million. He's making over 11 for the year. That's great.
Done. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
That's a good deal. If he's got the best deal in football, who's his agent?
Yeah, seriously. Dude. I don't know. Call him. We need him for our YouTube deal.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I need to call that guy.
Another deal, though. Speaking of deals, I don't know how clean this deal was. The Oakland A's have officially been approved to move to Las Vegas and become the Las Vegas A's, I guess. I don't know. There is on the screen for the YouTube audience, you can see a kind of, what is this called?
A rendering of the stadium.
A rendering, yes. A stadium rendering of what it might look like in Vegas, along with a rendering, I guess, of what the logo could look like. Kind of looks like an ace, to be honest with you. It's kind of cool, to be honest with you. I like it.
I don't hate the logo, actually, at all. That's not my problem. The stadium's okay. It's kind of cool looking. I guess it'll probably be very small attendance-wise, so that way, when they don't draw people, it doesn't look super empty like Oakland did.
Yeah, true.
But, dude, this whole thing with the Oakland is just... I don't know. You talked about, you read the article. I hadn't had time to read it yet, but you talked about an article you read on ESPN about how this whole voting thing went down and how Manfred talked about a little bit about it.
Yeah, the article was actually by Tim Keown. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He was from ESPN. I'm quoting it basically because it's just he writes it so well. They voted without all the required information and they voted to reward someone whose trustworthiness is actually in dispute with a market they've long viewed as a gold mine for an expansion team. Which let's take a moment to think about that statement.
Yeah.
Because it makes complete sense. Vegas is the new hotspot for sporting events. The Raiders move there. That stadium is insane. The Aces are winning. They're doing great. The freaking Golden Knights, that T-Mobile Arena is awesome. They're
Just won
freaking
the Stanley
winning.
Cup.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas is booming. This is a gold mine, like he says, for an expansion team. And they're giving it to the arguably worst owner in all of baseball because they just don't know what else to do with this team if nobody, you know what I'm saying? He goes on to say, Manfred has strewn rose petals along the A's path to Vegas. Maybe because he fears Fisher might lose his way without the help. Fisher is the owner of the A's. He agreed to waive the relocation fee, which in most cases is a minimum of $300 million that is actually spread across the other 29 teams. It's just like a fee that they get extra money because you're,
joining the club.
You're using a lot of MLB resources to move, you know what I mean? But because the deal is in Las Vegas, it wouldn't be financially feasible for him unless he waived that fee. Manfred scheduled a vote despite not knowing where the A's will play for 3 entire seasons between 2025 and 2027, and despite not knowing design of the ballpark, and despite not knowing how Fisher plans to finance the $1 billion to $1.5 billion ballpark. It seems to be a weird disaster. We were talking about a little bit. Your opinion is really, really high on Manfred, right?
If you're trying to be like opposite day, then yes, it is very, very high. No, he's the worst commissioner in baseball. This is like, okay, I wasn't already happy about them moving from Oakland. I get leaving the stadium at the Coliseum. It is a literal dump. Have no issue with that whatsoever. The A's have tried many times to get the city of Oakland and the state of California to pay for a stadium. The state of California has not done that for I don't know how many teams now. The San Diego Chargers are not in San Diego. Yeah, the San Diego Chargers are not there for a reason because they didn't want to give them a stadium, so they're paying rent to Kroenke, who built his own stadium. If you have a team and you're a billionaire, build your own stadium. If you can't afford it, we're not paying for it. That's stupid.
Thank you. Yes, okay. 100%.
Agreed with you there. The other part is, like, Vegas is fine, but why did you, if he can't afford to give you the expansion fee or the relocation fee in the first place, how's he going to build the stadium? The state of Nevada has done more than enough for T-Mobile and the Raiders. They can't just keep forking out every dollar they have either to help build stadiums.
That's exactly what the article said. Believe it or not.
And not only that, you mentioned they don't have a home for 25 through 27. They might not have a home in 24 because technically their lease doesn't end until the end of the 2024 season, but there's clauses that the city of Oakland can use to evict them and not have them play there next year. So that means there's 4 seasons of who knows where they're going to play. Now, I think I saw something on Twitter maybe about there's rumors of they might play in multiple locations each year. They might change. They could play at a AAA park in Nevada. They could play like at Oracle where the Giants play, but like alternate homestands. I don't understand what they're doing and what is happening. Manfred is the worst commissioner in sports. The worst.
Yeah. My opinion of this, and after reading a little bit more of the article, it's not the fans. The fans are in Oakland. It's that the owner basically doesn't have or doesn't want to spend money on the thing that he bought. And he feels that he doesn't want to, like you said, nobody wants to attend an A's game because you have to wear a safety helmet because OSHA won't let you in because of the like falling concrete and open. Like the stadium is a disaster. So I understand why he wants a new one. The problem is you're the billionaire, bruh. You pay for it. Mm-hmm. Don't make the taxpayers pay for it. We pay you back by spending money there. That's how you get your money back.
And the biggest issue is you get money from the league for TV rights deals. So it's not like you can easily afford to pay off your entire payroll for your team and have extra because your TV money alone for the league itself is more than enough to cover all that. So what are you doing with that other money? The other issue too is I don't know where his money came from, if it was inherited or if he's like a millionaire off of real estate or whatever. But usually the best owners are the ones that when they buy a sports franchise or a team, it's more of a toy. and they're just like, "Ooh, I have extra billions of dollars. Why don't I buy a sports franchise?" And then they like
As
hire
opposed for
people
like an
to
investment, because to
exactly, and then
them
they
it's just a
hire people
growing
to
asset
run
they don't
it.
want to manage. Yes,
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're buying a sports
like
team
Dan
because
Snyder.
facts, that's what exactly. That's the exact problem. If you're buying a sports franchise, you should not be buying it because you want to have money in the you should be buying it because you have so much money that you're like, why not? I can buy one of those and then make
Now
more
it is
money.
a good
But
investment. You can
well,
have that
yes,
as a good reason to move forward with your purchase or whatever,
yes, but
right?
it
But
shouldn't be
yeah,
the sole purpose of buying the
100
franchise.
right. Yes, yes.
There should be, and you don't have to necessarily be a fan either. When you buy, you could buy the team and just be a business person. Be like, I want to win, and I'm going to spend money to do so. That's great too, but
I feel like
spend the money.
that's what the I can't think of his freaking name, but the Warriors
Yeah, Joe
owner
Lacob.
does. Yeah, Joe
Yeah,
Lacob. Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah, after I read it, I basically thought this basically sucks for Oakland fans. I
yeah.
know it's not like the best city out there, and it's got a lot of, things to say about it, but I feel like they had a huge fan base for all of their teams. And now in the span of like 5 years, they've lost all three. Raiders
Yep.
are have already in Vegas. A's just got approved to move to Vegas, and the Warriors moved across the pond to San Francisco because it's, well, as of a couple years ago, used to be a little bit safer place to be. Not so much anymore. Maybe they want to head back to Oakland and go just refurbish at Oracle, but obviously not. But yeah, in the end, I just think, to me, like the article said, honestly, this is more also quoting Tim. It's just Manfred trying to save himself, trying to save Fisher, and all of the owners are just trying to make more money. Honestly, nobody gives two shits about A's fans or
Nope.
the A's players themselves. Money talks, and Vegas is screaming, bro.
Yep. And I think part of the maybe I don't know if the league could do this or the other owners should, but part of them moving, I feel like they should just completely start over as a name as a franchise. You shouldn't be able to carry the name over when it's that bad of a divorce. Like it's just nasty. Like just let the name go. But I know the Rams went to St. Louis, changed the name. St. Louis Rams came back, changed it. But I feel like the A's just it's over, man. Nobody just completely rebrand yourself and just start over somewhere else in Vegas.
I can see that. Speaking of branding, people have been branded winners. I know in our episode previously, we went over who had won Rookie of the Year in Major League Baseball, and then we made some guesses about who's going to win the rest of the awards. But later in the week, as I stated on Monday, the rest have been handed out. Let's start with Manager of the Year. And I gotta say, Corey, with this one, you were spot on with Skip Schumacher, Shoemaker. He took it easy. He received 8 first place votes. This one was actually really close. Craig Counsell
Yeah.
received 5. Brian Snitker received 8, and even Tori Lavello received 4 first place votes. So this was a lot more spread out. But yeah, man, Skip took it. You were right with that one. And on the American League side, it was Brandon Hyde of the Orioles.
Yeah, which I told you I wasn't picking him myself, but I wouldn't be shocked because the Orioles did have the best record in all of the American League, and for
Yeah.
them coming from 100 losses just 3-4 years ago, and Hyde has been there through the rebuild from the step one to now. I guess it's more of an achievement award in that point. So
Sure.
not mad about it
Well
at all.
deserved one too.
Oh yeah,
It's
for
okay.
sure.
I don't think Brucci really cares about Coach of the Year award. He'll take the World Series.
Yeah, true. He's got 4 of them now, so why not?
Props, brother.
But it was
And he
nice
might
to
have
see Torrey
Shohei
get
next
some
year,
coaches
so
though, or Torrey to get some votes there. It was nice to see.
yeah, exactly. Moving on to the Cy Young Award, announced the next day. This was announced Wednesday afternoon. Winners in the National League are Blake Snell, American League runaway Garrett Cole.
Yeah, no, there was no shocker there. That's both who we thought would get them. Yeah, I wasn't shocked at all. There's nothing to talk about really there. It is what it is.
Not really. Yep. However, moving on to the MVP, also not shocked at all.
No, not one bit at all. The 2 guys we
Both
thought is what it is, man.
both
They're the
unanimous.
best. Oh, see,
Yeah, both
even more
unanimous.
so.
They took all of the first place votes. So other players got votes, and so they got points, but they were the only ones in Shohei Ohtani with the American League and Ronald Acuna Jr. in the National League. Second of Ohtani's career, first time for Ronald.
Yeah,
Obviously,
and I saw
like
that
said,
5 of the last 10 AL MVPs are Trout and Ohtani.
Dang.
Awesome.
And how many World Series do they have? Like 2, or right? At least 2 or 3?
Let's see. I think they went to none. Yeah, it was none.
But they probably had deep playoff runs. I'd probably say like maybe AL, championship game. Like,
Actually, I think you're right. I think there was 0 playoff appearances with both of them.
oh no, I think Mike Trout has 1 playoff appearance, but not 1 playoff win.
No, 1 playoff hit. 1 for 10, 1 for 9.
Yeah, and he doesn't has one. And they
City.
haven't won 1 game. He hasn't won 1 game.
Yeah.
So yeah, fantastic. Good job, Angels. Fantastic, fantastic work.
Again, Manfred's the worst commissioner in sports. Artie Moreno's the worst owner in sports, hands down. Sell the team.
Sell it. Heading back to Manfred and some of his rules, there's got one that they're kind of talking about here. I don't see the big deal. I feel like we're getting a little bit interested, getting a little bit specific down here. Yeah. But they're thinking about shortening the pitch clock even more, specifically the pitch clock that is for when runners are on base. The normal one with the bases empty will stay at 15 seconds, but currently the pitch clock is at 20 seconds when there's runners on base. Apparently, there was a late season trend that shows games were lasting 7 minutes longer than the rest of the season. And they're starting to feel that they don't want that to creep into the next season and have, instead of 2.5-hour games, have 2-hour and 37-minute games. So what they want to do is shave 2 whole seconds off of the pitch clock for when runners are on base and move it down to 18 seconds. There's no final word, but this is being discussed. This is extremely critical to the game. I know, Corey, and I know that you're really passionate about it. Tell me, what do you think?
Well, I love baseball, but it is making it more annoying because, like, the 20 seconds is fine. It's an easy round, 15 and 20, like, whatever. Why do we got to make it 18, make it weird? I'm just...
7 minutes.
And not only that, can we do it for like a couple years before you start changing it? If you're going to change it every year because of, like, what if they go to 18 and next year they're like, oh, now the game's too short. Now we're down to 2 hours and 15.
Let's make it about 19. I think 19 is
like right in the middle. Then we're at a weirder number. Just like, let's just chill for like a year or two. All the rules that you implemented this year worked out fantastically. Everyone figured it out by July into August. And I think you said in September there was no errors or no pitch clock issues or calls in the entire month. And I didn't see one in the playoffs. I don't remember anybody talking about it happening in the playoffs. And all the playoffs were great. We went to that World Series game. That game was out, 2 hours and 55 minutes? It was perfect. It was a 3-1 game, 3 hours. We had plenty of opportunities, and there was action the whole time. It was perfect. Yep. I don't know why another 5 minutes is a big deal. Now, if they would have noticed a trend at the end where it went back up to like 15 to 20 minutes more,
right,
I'd be more susceptible and understanding of the topic. But
yes,
7 minutes. And also in the playoffs, you want things to drag out a little bit and be a little more dramatic on TV. So having an extra 5
Apparently the games that they're talking about for the 7 minutes was not the playoff games, just so we're on the same page.
Then what are we worried about?
I don't know,
the
man. That's what I'm saying. Are we getting a little bit too try hard about this? Like now it's like, oh dang, okay, no, the 7 whole minutes. Like I understand that baseball likes analytics, but damn, dude,
okay, so then
kind of relax a little bit.
I got to think part of that last month or so of this happening is got to be those guys. I mean, we talked about this. I think manipulating the what's the word when they get off the mound now that they call it. When they throw to first or whatever. What is that? What do they call it now?
Oh, throw out or throw off.
There's a word that they disengagement.
Pick off. Oh, disengage. Yeah.
Disengage. Okay. Right. So now there's people that this might have happened in the last month, which is part of the reason it's been taking longer. Guys have learned to manipulate like how to force guys to
the base runners
engage. Yeah, the runners have figured out a way for pitchers to disengage with the mound, but not actually throw over. And because it was the first year, some pitchers would not realize that counted as one of the throw overs or disengagements. So then they would throw over the second time or the third time, and they're like, oh, it's 2 times. Like, no, that's actually the third because you stepped off before you threw over the first 2 times. So they're like, wait, what? But so maybe that's part of that, as those guys kind of learning the little intricacies of these rules as the season goes on and picking their parts or points of like, ooh, maybe I can manipulate it a little bit here and a little bit there, and then it draws everything out. It might not actually be the clock itself. It could be the fact that it has to start over 3-4 times because guys are manipulating and causing these issues.
True. I like that point. You're right. I don't know. Like I said, it hasn't been approved yet, but it's thrown out there. So I guess we'll see if the all-important 20 to 18 second with runners on base pitch clock rule is updated. We'll keep you guys updated, okay? I know you guys will be just waiting.
Do not do it, Manfred. Stop.
Yeah, Rob.
Too much. Too much.
Moving on to basketball. Not really much to talk about right in the middle of the season. Nothing crazy storylines. There's some Laker rumblings. I know there's a lot of rumblings. Actually, you know what? Off topic or off of the spiel here. What do you think about Levine, DeRozan, Caruso? All of them, none of them, one of them, which one? Just quick. I know it's off the cuff. It's not part of what we have,
That's
but I'm
okay.
just curious now.
I like Caruso because he's only on 2-year deals, so it's not like you have to have him for 5 years or some crazy. It's like $9 million. So if Gabe Vincent was healthy, I'd be happy to swap him with Caruso because I know what Caruso would already do with LeBron.
We can't tell till the 15th of December, but
no, I know,
still.
I know, but I think Caruso.
But he'll be healthy by then, maybe is what I'm saying.
Yes, but Caruso and Reeves had not played together a lot, but they were both in the Lakers organization at the same time for 1 year, so there is an overlap and a knowing of each other, and I feel like their games would fit not perfectly together, but pretty well because they both play really well off of LeBron. No, not because of that. Because they play well off of LeBron. And players that know how to play off of LeBron tend to be very high IQ guys, which means they know how to play off of other players and their abilities. So I think that Caruso would be perfect, especially if Caruso was, well, I guess you have Reddish now, but Caruso could start next to D'Angelo. Maybe that would help him on the defensive side.
Dude, Reddish has been so good.
Really good. So
yeah,
keep doing your thing, guys. I don't know. I'm just excited, but I don't see the DeRozan thing. I feel like if you want to have defense guys on our team, then DeRozan is not the guy. He does not play defense. He's older, and his game is basically mid-range, right? And I feel like there's not a lot of space if AD is going to be in the paint all the time for you to get your mid-range shot, and LeBron's going to have the ball in his hand, driving to the hoop. Where are you going to find a mid-range open shot? Doesn't make any sense.
To be honest with you, I don't give a shit. AD had 9 points.
That's true. Yeah,
AD could just sit there and wait for rebounds and play defense from now on, bro. We need the scoring.
Not only did he only have 9 points, he only had, I think I heard 3 shot attempts in the first 3 quarters, or 4 shot attempts in the first 3 quarters.
Terrible. Domantas Sabonis made him look like a scrub. Moving on from that, no, I want to stick to the trade. so that's a yes for Caruso, a no for DeRozan, and
Levine. Depending on what we give up, I could discuss.
We have to give up a lot to it. They're going to want a lot. It's like 5 years of like $50 million. So careful. That's a lot of salary that we're giving him. And then they're going to want at least one of our first round picks, which I think I was listening to Trevor Lane. He's thinking like the 2030 first round pick. So we're already giving up a first round pick for this guy. And we're having him on the books for $40+ million a year for the next like 4 years.
Yeah, the draft pick thing doesn't really bother me. I don't really care about draft picks, but I do agree with you that is a long amount of money on a guy who's already been injured a lot. So
yeah, I care about the draft picks because I want to make sure that we're using that draft pick in the right trade.
Yes, okay, I'm with you there. I just don't care about them individually. But if they're in a trade,
I'll give that to you. Then no, I'm with you. But that's what I'm saying. I don't want to just throw away. Then what? Then we're going to be like the Clippers, where we have absolutely no assets to trade, and we have to hope for the fucking best on what's on the freaking buyout market or whatever. Or maybe after getting owned by fucking Jokic, just having to go and settle for Daniel Tice, who just got released by Indiana.
They're so bad. It's so
I mean, whatever. Who cares? Either way. So you're.
I think Daniel Tice thing. Part of it is he played in Houston with Harden for a bit. I think so. They have a rapport.
So
doesn't mean anything. It's not going to help them as a team. I'm just saying,
dude. You don't think Jokic is having his way with Daniel Tice too?
Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
What did that do, bro? It's just another. It's just 5-6 fouls. Yeah.
Clippers are confusing.
Whatever. Yeah. Whatever. Who cares? Nope. Okay, so you're a maybe on Levine, you're a no on DeRozan, and you're a yes on Caruso.
For sure.
Okay, I'm a yes on Caruso. I'm a yes on DeRozan because he only has 1 year left of his contract. We need 20 points a game because that's all we freaking got. And I'm a hard no on Levine. Hard no. That contract is a disaster, dude. Way too overpaid.
The Bulls are so screwed.
$45+ million, I'm pretty sure, on each year of his contract. And I have to look, to be honest with you.
No, you're probably right though, because the way these contracts have come these days, when you get, all NBA or you get awards in the off season, like it boosts up all your numbers. So
yeah, so this year that we're in, he's getting paid $40 million. Next year, 43. Next year, 46. Next year, 2026, 2027. 49 player option at 31 years old.
Dang, he's that young still? Wow.
I like Zach LaVine. This is not a knock on Zach LaVine.
Yeah. No,
I don't think.
Contract is just out of control.
Yes, this is not. I think he's like a 28 to $34 million a year player. We can get a whole $10 million a year player out of the rest of his contract. And I'm a hard no. I'm a hard no on Zach LaVine. I like him as a player. I don't like him with that.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. His abilities and what he can do on the court would be very nice next to AD, but you're right. That money is out of control.
Yeah. So besides that, there was really nothing to talk about except the biggest thing to talk about. Before we kind of talk about it a little bit, I want to go ahead and just show the clip. But basically, we're getting close to UFC 296 in December, and I think the Warriors and the Timberwolves wanted to go ahead and get it started a little bit early. Let's check this out.
Anthony Edwards working on Wiggins. Little step back three. And so we're scoreless. We'll stay 0-0 the first 2 minutes. And then look at Klay Thompson and McDaniels. What is going on with that? Wow. You've got a full-on fracas going on. Draymond came in to defend Klay. This got out of hand very quickly.
Look at Klay Thompson's jersey. It's ripped up. Here's a look at it. So they're kind of coming together. Klay's boxing him out, puts his hand on his jersey. Jaden McDaniels puts his hand on his jersey. Now they're swinging each other around. Gobert gets in there. Draymond's got him in a headlock. There's a lot happening here.
Well, there were no punches thrown, which is good. In the NBA, it doesn't matter even if you make contact. If you swing at somebody, you're gone.
So look at him on the left side over here. Yeah, they just... Klay had his hand on him, trying to like box him out, and then
he made sure Gobert got nowhere near that.
Every team has an enforcer. The Warriors have Draymond.
The reason Draymond went so demonstrably is that Gobert had Klay in a headlock.
Yeah.
And Draymond's not feeling that at all.
So he's just pulling him off. We're not doing that. This ain't that. Klay and McDaniels going at it here, and then all of a sudden Gobert comes in, and Draymond's like, no.
Yeah, it's
chill out.
Ooh, a scuffle, bro. It was crazy too, because did you see the score, dude? It was like deep into the game. It was already 0-0. So
yeah,
it was
really, not only that, it was an in-season tournament game. Like if you're the NBA,
oh my god,
this is like the worst thing that could have happened.
They're trying to put a spotlight on these games, and at the very beginning, there's literally fist fights and headlocks, and
Klay
3 players are
ripped
ejected.
Open like a WWE fighter just got off the court. I mean, just out of control. I don't know what. It's weird. I don't remember there being any kind of beef between the Warriors and the Timberwolves, and especially Klay and McDaniels. That's such a weird duo for it to start and then to spill over. I mean, Draymond, no, I'm not going to lie. Gobert did have his hand or arm around Klay's neck for a split second before Draymond got his. But once Draymond got him and pulled him away from Klay, he should have just let him go. You don't need to keep pulling and pulling and pulling. Now, you can tell, though, at least from my opinion on this video, you can see he's not choking Gobert necessarily.
He's
it seems
holding him.
Yeah, it's more like he's wrapped around him and pulling him, but you can tell Gobert's not like grasping for air, like I can't breathe. Not that is okay that he's grabbing his neck. I'm not saying that is.
No, yeah.
I'm just saying it could have been worse than it was. It was really bad in general. I don't know. Like I told you earlier when we talked about getting ready for the show, I'm surprised that Draymond only got 5 games. I thought they would have given him 10, and then he could appeal it and maybe knock it down to 5 or 6 games. So
yeah, I think he's just going to take it. I don't even think. I think it'd be
weird.
a waste of time to appeal it. To be honest with you, I think they're going to say "fuck you." No, you literally caused so much problems. It's insane. But yeah, so going back to that, Draymond was suspended 5 games. Gobert, Klay, and Jaden McDaniels all fined $25,000. Draymond will not be paid for those 5 games. I think they estimated that's just about $800,000 that he's missing out on his salary. There's this weird, stupid stat that's going around. I saw it on First Things First today, and I also have another comment about something that you said. So I'll get to that before I get to the stat. You said you don't know what's going on with Jaden McDaniels and what's going on with Klay Thompson. Yeah. I think it was Nick Wright that kind of had a point today. Maybe it wasn't on First Things First. I don't know. Maybe it was. Shoot, I don't want to give the wrong. It was either Nick Wright, Colin Coward, or Rick Bucher. I don't want to give everybody credit just in case it was one of them. But they basically were kind of talking about how the Warriors, they actually don't have good shooting. I think it's Rick Bucher. They don't actually have good shooting anymore. Chris Paul's shooting atrocious. Klay Thompson is literally hit or miss. He could make 8 threes in a game, and he could make 1 of 8 threes in a game.
Yeah.
So that one's hit or miss. Andrew Wiggins is not hitting threes anymore. Draymond doesn't hit threes. Kevon Looney doesn't hit threes. Jonathan Kuminga doesn't hit threes. It's basically Moses Moody is pretty average, and Steph Curry. That's basically all they got. So they don't shoot well at all. And so what they're saying is they're just trying to get, and because the Timberwolves are very good, especially right now, starting the year off hot, and they had just beat them. This was the second of 2 games back-to-back. I don't know if they were back-to-back nights, but they were definitely back-to-back games of them playing each other, and the Timberwolves had beat them the night prior, or the game prior. Let me say that again. So there was already some animosity from that game. And apparently, according to whoever I heard this from, again, one of those 3 people I named, Jaden McDaniels is good, but he is easily proddable. So the goal for opposing teams is to get and annoy him quickly. And apparently Klay took it very seriously because I do think Klay started it by kind of pushing him kind of towards and near the neck. He kind of pushed him, and McDaniels didn't like it for obvious reasons and kind of pushed back. But that's apparently the game plan against Jaden McDaniels, is to do those types of things. So that's apparently what started it. Again,
in a row of that has made McDaniels kind of blow off a little bit there and get a little bit too irritated too fast.
It did. For the YouTube audience, I kind of made a little bit, I know we just watched the video, but I kind of made a little bit of a couple screenshots. You can see the ripped jersey. That's the beginning of the fight. The scuffle towards the beginning, or towards the middle. That's the big picture right here. And then Draymond walking away with Gobert and a headlock at the end there. I also think there's a little bit of animosity between Draymond and Gobert, even stemming back to the Utah days, because they've been in the West. He's been in the Western Conference playing each other for many years. I'm not sure if they've met in the playoffs, but there's probably some sort of issue there, especially because Gobert thinks he's kind of really, really good, and he's kind of the only person who thinks that. He's just really, really tall. That's kind of all, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, and
I don't mean to be disrespectful. He's in the NBA.
I'm with you, but I think part of it too is Draymond and him both have won Defensive Player of the Year awards, and I'm sure Gobert has more, even though, like we talked about, we don't think he's that good.
Yeah, Draymond a little mad because I think Draymond kind of probably might deserve it too, to be honest. That's a good point. Sure. That's a good point. Well, there was that weird stat that I wanted to tell you about. On First Things First, Nick Wright and the team put this together, because Gobert talked about it when interviewed after the game. He said Draymond always does this kind of stuff, especially when Steph isn't playing. He always wants to get kicked out of the game. So the people over there did a little bit of research, and I'm going to take it. But I'm giving them credit. First things first, Cass, their crew, did it. He's played in 196 total games with Steph Curry and has been ejected from 4 of them. That is a 2% rate of ejection. Isn't that still crazy? He still gets ejected from games in 2% of the time.
Wait a minute. Back up. They've only played 196 games together? That can't be right.
Well, he's might have been, out or whatever hurt. This is maybe regular season. That's also been hurt a lot.
They played 80 games a year, and they went to the finals 5 years in a row, just the regular season, 80 times.
Oh, maybe this is most recent. Maybe this is recently.
Okay. Maybe this is like post.
No, this is his ejections, or I don't know. Maybe this is recent. I don't know. And then 74 games without Steph Curry. Oh, the most recent, 270 games?
Okay, there we go. That makes more sense. Like post-COVID, I'm thinking more makes more
sense. I don't know. And then 74 games without Curry. He has 7 ejections. That's a 9.5%.
It's a big jump.
Crazy, right?
But it's a weird thing. Like, why would you? I guess this one's early in the game and you didn't know it was going to happen. But why would you try? I guess because Steph's not out there, Draymond feels like he has to be more in your face to the other team and create them to maybe fold within themselves, because he knows without Steph that the team is not as good as with him. I guess that's the only thing.
It's the only offensive weapon. Right. He's on the bench. So yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know.
Good point. Well, I know we talked about it before when we were talking about the A's, but we're going to go back to Vegas, back to the desert, Vegas, baby. This upcoming weekend, Formula One, for the first time ever, is going to be racing on the Vegas Strip itself. A couple images here of the racetrack on the screen for the YouTube audience. Again, those of you listening, I appreciate you a lot. But if you want to see these pretty pictures that I put for you, come check us out. Search Our Review from the Bench on YouTube. We'll pop right up. Vegas Grand Prix, Formula One, this weekend, first time ever. A couple of the storylines kind of going around for it. There's a lot, honestly, but a couple of them, the big ones. The main guy, Max Verstappen, the guy who's already the champion a couple races ago, even with a couple races to go, is really not excited for the race. When being interviewed, he says he's not for it. He's, kind of thinks it's all for a show. He thinks this race is actually 99% show and 1% sport. Other racers have been interviewed thinking that, it's kind of great. It'll be fun to race at night. So that'd be kind of cool. And in Vegas with all the lights and stuff like that, that'll be cool. Some of the businesses are actually benefiting from this, but a lot of them are actually kind of hurting from this because the way that the track is set up, in order for them to set up either grandstands or any sort of security walls, they're having to close off parts of the strips in some of those businesses that are along it. And then some of the ones, because the track isn't obviously only on the strip, it's affecting a lot of the ones on the outskirts as well. So they're having to close it. There's been insane traffic in and around just the area because all the roads are like oddly closed. It's just not necessarily a city that's really built for it.
Yeah, for real.
So it's kind of crazy. It's also costing Vegas and Nevada like a bunch of money, but it is what it is. I'm sure it's going to make them some money. The crazy part is a lot of people are mad, especially residents of the area and people that are paying taxes in the area. Vegas apparently has already committed to multiple years of this race without even seeing how this is going.
10 years. I talked to this guy, Tom, used to be a season ticket holder for the Ducks for a long time. And then he moved to Vegas. So now he's a season ticket holder for the Golden Knights. Nice. And when he comes to games, we talk to him all the time. And he was telling me, like, yeah, we got this Grand Prix thing coming up. I was like, yeah, I heard. He's like, yeah, the streets have all been closed and everything's all screwed up. And I was like, oh, so how many, like, is this like the one of like a couple years? Like, no, it's like a 10-year agreement. I was like, oh, and he goes, and not only that, in order to race these cars, there's a certain type of asphalt that they have to have.
Yeah, they have to repave it.
So they repaved all of the streets and the strip and everything else. I was like, oh my God, yeah, tons of money. So if Verstappen thinks it's about the show and not the sport, he's absolutely right, because this is the weirdest place to do it in. I get it for the spectacle of it all, but the actual logistics of putting it together, like you said, maybe do a 1-year deal and then see how it goes, and maybe we can agree to 3 or 4 more. But why not just do it?
And maybe space it out.
Yeah, once every 3 years, or like so that
make
way
it like an event.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I'm glad I don't live there. That's all I can say.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, nice. The race itself is actually going to take most time. They race on Sunday mornings. But they're kind of going to change that a little bit. They're going to be racing at Saturday night. They want to be racing under the lights. It's going to air in the morning in Europe, where most people kind of watch these things. But starting at 10 o'clock Vegas time, 1 p.m. Eastern, a.m., right under the bright lights of the strip, man. It's gonna like you said, it's gonna be a spectacle. It's gonna look awesome. I'm honestly excited to watch it in the sense of just being able to like look at it. Verstappen's favored to win. I think he's a betting favorite of -250. So $250 bet wins you $100. Not that much of a win. Yeah. He should take it, and we've only got one more race after this, I believe, is Abu Dhabi, and the season is wrapped up. So should be weird. Should be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
God, I don't know.
I'll let you know how it goes.
There's a lot of spectacles of shit going on there, and people not really necessarily excited about it happening at the same time. And I know the prices of, like, compared to when it first got announced a year ago or 2 years ago, the prices to go to this thing were astronomical, and now they've all kind of dropped. Not necessarily down super low, but they have come down significantly. And I heard there's even hotels that if they have a view from your room to the racetrack, they're blocking that off. Like they want people to buy tickets to the actual race itself and not just stay up in their room and watch it. But I'm like, come on, man.
I would love to stay in my room and watch it. That'd be the best place to watch it.
Right? Then just charge more for the room for that weekend. Make that.
Yeah, all the ones that face the strip.
Extra fee that you charge goes to like a ticket price to the F1 people.
Goes to the people. Yeah, exactly. That makes sense to me. I would enjoy it more. The only thing that is you can't control how many people you put in there. You know what I'm saying? So
that's true.
That
like Vegas doesn't have that issue already. Come on, how many people stay in a hotel room and groups of friends go to Vegas? When we went with back in the day, we had like 8 people in our hotel room.
Yeah, that's because we're broke.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Well, it's going to be making history. That's for dang sure, and we're going to keep it historic. With the final segment of today's episode, we're going to move to This Week in Sports History. This week in sports history. So this week in sports history, got a couple. One of them is a little bit tragic, so we're going to start it off on a low note, but it should be remembered. It's one of many, actually. After I did some research, there was a handful, and I'm kind of curious as to why this one stands out. I don't know what the story is, why it's more exceptional than others behind it, but I'll explain that in a second. On November 14th, 1970, 43 members of the Marshall football team die when their chartered plane crashes tragically in Canova, West Virginia. 53 years ago that happened, man. That was pretty crazy. They had a movie about it, obviously. We Are Marshall. It was a great movie, very moving. But after when I started doing some research on this, it was pretty crazy to see. And I started reading you off some of them, and we had never even heard of these. But there's a handful more of, I'd say 6 to 10 more tragic incidents where tens of people are dying from sports teams traveling either by bus or by plane. Mostly those two forms of transportation are mentioned. But it's pretty crazy. It's very, very sad. You've seen the movie, obviously, right?
Actually, I haven't seen the movie, which is kind of weird.
Oh my gosh, bro.
I know the story itself pretty well, but I haven't seen the movie. But I'm with you. It was weird when you started listening. Well, this happened again before at this time, and it happened this time, and it happened this time. I was like, dude, how many have happened? Like, why doesn't anybody ever talk about these other plane crashes or even mention them? We only talk about this one. So then my question is Marshall must have been in the middle of November. So you're basically at the end of the season. Well, they must have been in the middle of a championship run. They were undefeated or something. There's got to be more to it than why this one stuck out more than these other teams or sporting groups that tragically passed away in plane crashes, or a couple, as we talked about, was bus crashes.
Yeah, one even happened this year. I believe it was Wichita State, but it was in the same year, 1970. I don't remember the date off the top of my head or how many people were tragically killed that day, but yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. So, trying to move to a little bit lighter note, though. November 15th, 2011, Mike Krzyzewski becomes Division I's all-time winningest men's basketball coach when number 6 Duke beats Michigan State 74-69 in the State Farm Champions Classic at Madison Square Garden in New York City. It was
Coach
crazy.
K, man.
He went on to win even more. Obviously, he coached for another decade. I think he just stepped down a couple of years ago, maybe 1 or 2 at the most. Yeah. So he went on to coach for a very, very long time, and now he gets to finally just enjoy the greatness that he built. That Duke program is something else, man.
Oh man, he did such a good job with that program, and for so long to be that good, especially I feel like in college, he was one of the few programs that for a long time he wasn't doing the one and done thing. He was avoiding it, and then eventually the last 8 to 10 years he found okay, Zion Williamson.
You have to,
and yeah, you got to keep up, otherwise you get left behind. So did what we need to do, did a lot of winning. I mean, to set the record at the time, at Madison Square Garden is huge, and then to keep adding on, I don't think anybody will ever catch him now. The way the sports run, it just doesn't give you that longevity like it used to.
Coaches don't,
yeah, they just
don't. They don't go through giant losing droughts. I mean, I don't know if he had any.
No,
but if there's ever years where he has 1 or 2 years in a row, sometimes coaches are on the hot seat already. So
yeah, and then
I agree.
Now that we talk about Krzyzewski, I forgot about too when Bobby Knight passed away. I think a week ago or so, they brought up how I think Mike Krzyzewski played for him at not Indiana, but at Air Force or something.
Yes.
Yeah. So
that's who he passed. That's who he passed to become the winningest coach.
Even better. So yeah, but yeah. So I remember they were talking about that last week when they talked about Bobby Knight and everything, and how they're both just so driven and to the point and have everything scheduled to the minute. Eventually, they're both military guys. So, but to last that long is just, that's crazy. That's a lot of years coaching, dude.
Yeah, and good for him. Good for him. He's did a great job. So enjoy your retirement, coach. You did work, and he did great for Team USA. I mean, all around basketball, he'll be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, he already is in the Hall of Fame.
I'm sure he is.
But he could be in the Hall of Fame in every aspect possible because he's been a contributor in many, many ways. So good for him.
Time.
We have a bunch more of those facts in all of our episodes. We've got MILF Monday facts. We've got This Week in Sports History facts. Where can they find more of it, man?
Oh, yeah, dude. Anytime you want to search our, podcasts on the Apple Podcast, Spotify, or YouTube, just search Our View from the Bench, and you can hear all our previous episodes. I believe our video episodes started episode 9 because we hadn't had a video part set up yet at the beginning there, but every episode we've done, and maybe even a couple extras. I think there's an extra Diamondback one in there we did, and we were really excited a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at OurViewFTB. How's the rest of your, now Friday and weekend looking, man? You busy with games and stuff?
Yeah, we got a game
I
tomorrow
know you
night.
said this Black Friday stuff you're getting ready.
Yeah, so Ducks game tomorrow night, Ducks game Sunday. I'm actually off Saturday for some reason. I offered to work because we got so much stuff to do, but they told me I have to take a day off, so I won't be working Saturday. So I'll probably just be sleeping, to be honest with you, and cleaning up my room.
Nice.
I feel like I have a lot of home chores to catch up on for the most part. So, but I'm looking forward to it. And then we got to figure out, man, if we're doing an episode or once or twice next week, because it is Thanksgiving next week.
On Thursday? What are you what time are you doing Thanksgiving?
I think like 2 or 3 o'clock. Ooh, okay. Well, yeah, okay. I got an idea. We'll discuss after.
Okay, sounds good. But yeah, check us out. I am doing something on Saturday. Like I told you at the beginning of the episode, I'm going to go have Thanksgiving with my mom. She's coming out, and so that's Saturday. But other than that, just a normal weekend. Gonna work tomorrow. Luckily, last day, Friday, woo! And then I got some good football games. Honestly, I hate saying this, but I'm kind of looking forward to Monday Night Football. That's the only thing. Not looking forward to Monday because that means my weekend's over. But Monday Night Football game this week is going to be good. Probably the best one of the season. So looking forward to that. Other than that, just normal weekend, man. Church on Sunday. My favorite thing.
Sounds like a good weekend, man.
Yeah, man.
I wish I knew what those were.
Weekends? I know, right? Dude, you freaking never
Dude,
get
no,
them,
okay, low key. I don't even know what day of the week it is right now because I've been working so much and like I was supposed to have a day off and I ended up going in working anyway. So today I was helping a customer. When I was done ringing them up, I said, "All right, guys, have a good weekend." And they looked at me. I was like, "It's Thursday, isn't it?" And they were like, "Yeah, but close enough." And I was like, "Okay." And they just walked away.
Thursday is close enough.
Oh, God, I don't even know where I'm at.
Yeah, all you do is wake up each morning and the day is, do I work today or do I not work today?
Yeah,
not what day of the
time do I
week
need
it
to
is,
be
yeah.
there?
Yep, that's pretty much it. Nice one. Well, good luck, dude. I know this season's getting tough for you. But we have a couple episodes next week. We'll talk about that. You'll see us pop up again. Hit the subscribe and hit the notifications. That way, no matter what day, because sometimes we're not always on Mondays and Thursdays, you'll get the notifications so you can check out the episode. Other than that, we appreciate you stopping by. Thank you for seeing things from our view from the bench. I'm Brendan.
And I'm Corey. Like we always say, enjoy the sports until we talk again.
Peace.